the Happy Hour Podcast with your host, Joel Fleischman.
And go! Hi, everybody. This is Joel Fleischman. Welcome to our Happy Hour Podcast, episode number 21. Are we doing cheers with this? Yeah.
We're doing cheers, absolutely.
Cheers.
What do we got?
I am with two of my best friends, Sam Floyd on my right, your left, and Raina Jeffrey from BlueDoor Coffee Company and Operation Coffee. It's a coffee roast. So we started it off with a cortado, which is...
I don't know, I've lost my voice. It's a cortado. It's 2 ounces of espresso and 3 ounces of milk, but I did half and half, so it's a breve, and then I did cinnamon and sugar on top.
It's delightful.
It is super good.
It's the Patches roast, if you're wondering.
How much espresso's in there?
2 shots.
2 shots at 3:30 in the afternoon. Not a good idea. Switching over to beer.
Really?
Heck yeah, it's a podcast. Happy podcast, we always do beer. Back to keep her moving.
Hey, this is that guy.
Are you ready?
Okay.
You're waiting.
Oh, am I supposed to wait?
Cheers. Great.
Did you make the noise?
Yeah, I did.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us. Me. New name
It's
taste?
actually kind of good. Yeah,
Nice.
we got him today.
Oh, those are cool.
Do you like them?
Yeah, show the potters.
We got name
Potters.
tags today. Day 28, we got name tags.
I did not.
Sam didn't get a
When
name
you said
tag.
we,
I opened them in front of Sam, and
Well,
he
maybe that's
didn't get one.
awkward. Okay, well, let's get to it. I think the cool story is how God brings people together. That's kind of like the theme of this, to some degree. So let's talk about how we know each other and how we got to know each other. Like, what is the furthest back we can remember meeting each other? Reyna, why don't we do our story first?
Okay, sounds good. I needed a job. I was 17. Caitlin Stoll had just been hired for whatever her position was. She got hired in
No
September.
one knows. She just was.
Right.
She calls a pressure reliever.
I say
She was
pick.
nothing.
She was not nothing.
Position-wise, hugely helpful. She was usually, but she didn't know. She didn't know her role. I didn't know her role. I just called her a pressure reliever.
Yeah.
It's like I want a balloon. They got a little bit of air, and then, that's what she did.
And then when Caitlin's role became a little bit more focused, they hired me. I answered
In
phones.
which location?
Campbellsport location. So I would leave school every day at noon, and I would go to the Campbellsport location and answer phones. And I would scan and laminate maps.
What year was this?
2013.
So in 2013, we scanned and laminated maps to job sites.
Yeah, it was terrible.
8 years
Super
ago.
inefficient.
Right. 2021, we have job site mobile, highly efficient, and it's on everybody's apps. But yes, laminate maps so you can make copies of the map.
Yeah, I'd
For
make
the
copies
driver.
of the map and then laminate the map.
Right, but then if the driver wouldn't take the laminated map, that was the original.
Correct.
The driver then would make a copy for himself to throw away.
There were 2 filing cabinets of maps.
For real.
This is real.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Okay.
were organized by contractor, then job name.
Your original nickname was Rain Down, is that right?
Yes, rain down.
Rain down, rain down.
I came from Albert.
You probably sang
Albert
that
couldn't
in grade
remember
school.
my name, so he would just come into
That's a
work
Catholic thing,
and sing
rain down?
that. Yeah, it's a hymn or something.
Yeah, but he doesn't know. Like, it must be Catholic.
It is.
It seems Christian. Rain down seems like a Christian thing. There's nothing Catholic about that. You
Jesus saves. I don't know.
Lutheran, we didn't have that in Lutheran.
guys didn't have songs.
I had never
We
heard
didn't
of it.
have songs.
They don't have to go to church as much
I had
as us.
never heard of it until Albert sang it.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
All right.
Then they put me in this corner office so that I could talk to everybody that walked in, which is my favorite part. And then Joel moved his office, and then Joel's like, here, I have some stuff that I need help with. And so I'd help Joel sometimes, and then eventually I was doing stuff for a lot of people in a lot of different departments. And then I turned 21, and I decided that I was gonna move.
Bum, bum, ba-da. The story changes.
Yep. So I moved to Montana out of spite of the village of Campbellsport because I was determined to not live here for the rest of
Where
my
in
life.
Montana? Because that's even more important.
Bozeman, Montana.
Yes, Bozeman.
Very
Bozeman. That's a very
bougie.
high-end place.
Bougie.
Like, everyone goes to Bozeman. Anyone
true.
looking for their life
Are you being sarcastic or are you being real?
But
No,
really
it's for
for real.
real.
Like, it's a place.
But you can never
when you're trying to
stay
find-
it's a
because
real
it's too
place.
I looked
expensive.
up Bozeman and came with Chadwick Bozeman. Okay.
Like, when you're trying to find yourself, you're going to go to Bozeman.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, it's really pretty.
So
It's
can
very
I back
pretty.
up for a second? Those drawers of plans, was that, how many years of that was that?
We try to go through every year. like
Every
once a
year,
which
yeah.
is more work. Which was more work.
It's terrible.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Basically, I was a part-time employee that just did
Team
maps
member.
for a very long time.
Team member.
Oop, team member.
All right, so why did you go? So let's get a little more spiritual, deeper. Why did you really go to Bozeman?
Why did I move to Bozeman? I was trying to figure out my identity, and as long as you live in the village of Campbellsport, that was really hard. I went through a lot in high school that I was struggling with, and I couldn't get away from it.
There was a horrible accident at Campbellsport.
Yep. It was it was pretty terrible.
Awful.
It was on February 4th, J Money's birthday. Cheers.
Tomorrow, as it is.
Your birthday's tomorrow?
Yeah.
It is
Cheers.
Wait, what day's it tomorrow?
the February 4th.
My birthday's the 5th.
Oh my god.
February 5th,
Overturned.
Aquarius. I had no idea. Happy birthday. Let's celebrate. What?
What's an Aquarius?
Aren't you a hipster?
Doesn't know what Aquarius is? Astrology, not
astrology.
astronomy.
Astrology.
Astrology.
Is that like...
I'm an Aries.
In the
I'm a
age
Virgo.
of
Wait,
Aquarius.
so aren't you an Aquarius too then?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I knew you
That's how
were
he knows.
Aquarius. That would have been odd if I knew that
Overturned.
randomly.
Anyways, yeah, went there. Where were we at?
Yeah, so we had a horrible accident. 3 of her best friends passed in an accident tragically, and Reyna was supposed to be in the car.
Yeah, I was supposed to hang out with them, but then I decided not to. Went to one of my brother's basketball games instead, and then I went to bed early that night. And that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
I
good.
didn't know that part of the
That's
story.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not a fun part. Yeah, tomorrow.
Anniversary, horrible
I
night.
usually just kind of like hold my breath on the 4th, and then once I found out it was Joel's birthday, I was like, let's rally. Like, no longer do I have to think about trauma. It's Joel's birthday. Let's run with it.
So you got a little bit of that weight on your shoulders, right? You
Yeah.
grew up in Campbellsport, like, you know what? I'm going to get the hell out of here. Forever.
Yeah, I was donezo. And then I got a job at a coffee shop because I really liked coffee. And then Joel found out that I was a barista. Joel called.
You were a barista. I thought you were working at the hotel.
I was doing both.
Oh, you're doing both.
Then Joel calls.
Bozeman's-
I did not know
it's
you were
expensive.
I did not know you were at a coffee shop.
I was.
Man, Raina's going to need more beer. Okay, so you're at a coffee shop. Hotel, I give you a call.
I had no idea
like
what I was
completely
doing.
randomly out of the blue. Like, there's no reason I would
Yeah.
call you, right?
He called me. I was like on my living room floor watching probably daytime television because I had weird hours, and Joel Fleischman's calling me, and he put me on speaker. I was like, this is weird. My cousin Melanie, who I lived with, was like curling her hair in the bathroom. I had you on speaker because I thought something awful had happened. And he's like, hey, we're building a new building, and we are not sure. We want to do something cool in our headquarters, maybe a garden. What were your other ideas?
Like a huge aquarium.
Oh my god. So then we did a coffee shop. And then when people hear that you were going to do an aquarium, they're going to be like, oh, I'm glad we did a coffee shop.
Aquarius would be cool though.
This is the first time I'm hearing this too. There's a lot of firsts in this kind
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't think I told you the whole story on the phone. I mean, you're really good at memory that way. I think I was like, next time you come back, how I remember it was, hey, Ray, next time you're back in town, I need to talk to you. When are you coming back?
No, you proposed the idea.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, and then you said, are you interested? And I said yes. And then you're like, okay.
okay.
And then I was like, hey, I'm actually flying into town next Friday.
Oh, that's because I knew it was
coincidentally.
quick. Right.
And then he walked me over to the lot. And he's like, what do you think? Yeah.
I always thought you'd be the perfect person to run it, so we're just so blessed to have her. This is great.
of. Was the construction happening at that time?
No, it was
It's just a
blacktop.
parking
Was
lot.
it just,
We just walked up
Was it-
randomly. I'm like, right here it's going to be.
it was still Surways or
No,
Donald
Donald
No, he
Driver.
bought it.
We had owned the property for a few years, so it wasn't Donald Driver for maybe 5 years already. So it was really just a vacant
Was it my uncle's
blacktop.
before his?
What?
Was it Charlie's before his?
I don't know.
Charlie sell that?
Yeah, I believe Charlie, which would be his uncle, Charlie Surway.
Surway. Okay.
Connection.
Got it.
Uncle Charlie.
Coming together.
Yes, I believe it was Surway's, and then he sold it to Donald Driver.
So, who's Molly to you? Not Molly
It's Molly's shill.
Chill. Never mind.
Hey,
That's
Molly,
way,
shout
way
out,
back.
shout out to Uncle Charlie. I'm sure you're watching out there.
It smells so weird. God. Yeah. So anyways, started running the shop. That was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Made a lot of mistakes. Did some things right.
Babysat for my kids for a while.
Babysat for his kids.
Not as a BlueDoor manager, but back in the day.
Yeah. Jackson, Macy, and Marcus.
That's kind of our story.
They're pretty wonderful.
What happened to Macy's arm?
She was
Snowboarding accident.
Oh, okay.
Does it? Not a snowboarder. Never snowboarded in her life. She's in Bunny Hill.
But she's not going to want to do it now.
No, I think it's career ending for our entire family. Actually, I think all 5. It's just done. We're done.
I would go down
We
the
have
same direction.
we have sunburst. The lights of the ski hill shine into our house. We're that close. They shine into our house. They're that close. None of us use it ever. It's the most
true.
dumbest thing. People come from 100 miles to use sunburst, to sled, go to the chalet. None of it. So whatever.
You're done.
Yeah, she's got 2 paddles here. All right. So Sam. So thank you, Reyna.
So then,
Yeah.
wrapping it up, pulling it in, right? Then December comes, so we opened July of
Oh,
2017.
we're still talking about you.
No, I'm pulling in Sam.
Well, I was just going to transition into his story.
Oh, that's fine. I guess you're the podcast guy. We'll see if he tells the story right.
Taking over the pod. All right, Sam. So, how do you and I meet? I gotta tell my version because I don't know what the hell your version
Okay,
is.
well, it started actually back in 2008 when I got back from the Marine Corps and I interviewed for a job with CBS.
I always forget that.
Oh,
Camel's
this is a
Brooklyn
good
Spice.
story.
Yeah.
You're
And
gonna like it.
Kevin Soik got me an interview with you and your dad, Albert, and it was a
So my dad was still interviewing people in 08.
it was a Joel and Albert interview.
Could you imagine a Joel and Albert interview for anybody that knows both of us
Sounds
now?
terrible.
It was intimidating, and
say
I
the
just got
least.
back from war, and I was pissing my pants. So I went in there, and I interviewed for an outside sales position for Kiel, the Kiel branch at this time, and I think Albert, your dad, said, "Well, what do you know?" And I said, "Well, I know drywall." And from there, it just went down. He's like, "So you don't know anything?" Like, and I just remember that comment, and then from there, it just went downhill.
goodness.
It just went downhill because your dad said, "Well, you don't know anything." Then I said,
So Sam spiraled.
I stuttered my way through, and by then I think I remember, Kevin might remember this. I went to Kevin Soik and I said, "I'm sorry."
Was there forehead sweat involved?
I was
feel
sweating.
like there was
a lot.
forehead sweat,
There was-
yeah.
There was a lot of intimidation, and I didn't think it was. And Dad asked me, he's like, "How did it go?" I'm like, "I didn't get the job."
Like, those 2 guys are nuts.
I didn't get the job.
Yeah. Yikes.
And in 08, I mean 08, 013 when you started.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm way different now, right?
Yeah. So the transformation of Joel, he's come very far. You really have.
Explain what that means.
Okay, so
Give me 2013 Joel, 2021 Joel.
2013 Joel. If the nails weren't dusted, if
You're like a movie person.
I
Do you
can
like
do this,
like who's
watch.
like a movie person?
What are we doing here? Why is there dust? Why is there dust on the nails? Raina, what are you working on? I'm answering the phones. Can you go clean the nails? Why the nails? Yeah, okay, but now he's like, now you're constructive, kind of.
I was just told recently I have a much softer voice. My voice isn't as loud.
And you don't speak, you're not as quick to speak. Yeah. I
thoughtful.
think you think things through a little bit more.
I just hold everything back. It's like a chariot. It's like a chariot with horses, you know. Like I used to just let the horses run, and now I try to bring the boys back in my brain. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like I try
so
to
that
hold it
it's-
back. So horses used to just be like in control. They went left, they went right, they went forward, backwards. I didn't care where the
Right.
horses went. I went where the horses went. Now I try to hold it back. Okay, so Sam, 08 it went back. That didn't work out.
That didn't work out. No. It
Okay,
didn't.
so then what happened? So then, and I'll take over for just a second,
Yeah.
and you can kind of jump in on your version. So I'm like la la loo, la la lee, 2019,
18.
18 already. So we're in business at BlueDoor for a year.
Yeah, not yet.
Not
No.
yet. 6 months. 17.
3.
I started my business in 2017.
Right. So, but you must have
You
reached
did?
out to us, and
It was a December.
I was
we're using Kickapoo coffee.
Yep, for a year.
I was in a hunting blind when I texted you.
Okay.
And
So
so that was fall of 2017.
right. So literally with Kickapoo Coffee, we have BlueDoor, but we're really trying to run Drexel, right? I mean, both things can be true. Most of my time's on Drexel, and I get a text from Sam Floyd, who I don't remember from 2008, and hey, can we meet? I want to talk. I have an idea along those lines.
Yeah, like I'm starting my coffee roasting company. It would just make something like we can look into do some sort of partnership.
Right. So
Mind
I'm
you, he
like,
had never walked into BlueDoor.
no. So and he's living in Texas,
Arizona.
You
Arizona.
lived in Arizona when you texted him?
No, I was before. I was living in Madison. That's
It is in Madison,
I was
right?
like-
So I just I'm like, I don't have time to meet you. I don't know what you're talking about. This is the craziest thing. We're just a little coffee shop. Don't roast beans.
So Joel says, Sam Floyd, here's his number. Call him.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
so
then I cross-referenced
I
him with
actually
Bob
avoided
Flood.
it. I was like, get the hell out of here. And then what happened then?
Bob Flood had already dropped your name, so I went back to
Shout out
Bob
to
and
Bob
I said,
Flood.
who's Sam Floyd? Tell me about this. And he's like, he's a good guy. I think he's doing a coffee roasting business or something. So then I was like, okay. And then we called you. And then we had the interview.
Us three interviewed.
the interview for the barista.
This was
position.
like one of the best interviews of all time, right? Do you remember Sam's interview?
No.
Yes, you do.
Refresh me.
Joel walked out of the interview and went, so did you feel the Holy Spirit? I felt the Holy Spirit. Did you feel the Holy Spirit? And I was like, yeah, I felt it. And he said, oh my God, that was amazing. And then you like kept coming back into the shop, like looking at me like, that was pretty cool, huh? And I was like, yeah, Joel. Do you remember that?
And you didn't feel it?
No, I did.
Oh, I remember it now.
Yeah, he was jacked.
That happens to me a lot. Like, that's not a abnormal
No.
sequence. So we were jacked because Sam told his story, right?
Yeah, Sam told the story.
Right.
And his coffee, his like ethics and the reason he was doing coffee roasting really aligned with BlueDoor too.
Right. So then for a little while, we thought, so you have an idea. What's your idea? Because not everyone's going to know this on the pod. You are Operation Coffee, and what was your idea you proposed to us? Because you weren't doing it yet.
I was doing it in a very small capacity. Like I was doing it in a small 2-pound roaster, and then we proposed the idea of introducing Operation Coffee into BlueDoor, and so we started doing drip coffee eventually. Not right away, but eventually we tried out the drip coffee, and I was actually baristing here. So that's how I kind of got the ins and outs and how to pull shots, because at that time I really didn't know how to pull a shot properly or anything. That's why the training from Reyna and BlueDoor really helped out a lot in my maturation of roasting coffee.
All right. So what is Operation Coffee? Why does it exist? What was your vision behind it? You showed me that video of that guy. Remember that black and white video? I'll never forget. Like you sent to me.
From the Pacific?
Yeah, the Pacific, the movie. But anyways, what's your vision? Because like Holden, you don't know who Sam Floyd is, right? Operation Coffee, nothing. Okay, great. Give this up to
You're gonna love it
the
overturned.
Holdens of the world.
Let's see, I was living in Madison, more specifically Evansville, Wisconsin, which is just south of Madison. And I was working on grinder sewage pumps, which is, every you need to do it. People on lake houses have those. I mean, obviously it's an important job, but it was disgusting. It was so bad. Long story short, the salesman took the line and took it out of our shop, and so we no longer had a business because we didn't have the pumps anymore. Lost my job. It was Memorial Day week, which is historically a tough week for me because of I remember my friends that have passed away.
Why did your friends, like he doesn't have any clue who you are?
Sure. I served in the Marine Corps from 2002 to 2006. I did a tour in Afghanistan from 2003 to 2004.
You literally, when you started, you signed up, and then 9/11 was when?
Yeah, so I swore in the late entry program September 10th, 2001.
The day before Holden. Yeah.
So
Where's the mic?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Holden's face.
Imagine signing up to be or enlisting in the Marines on September 10th, 2001.
Like just peacetime, la la.
You're
Lou, sounds
18.
like fun.
Like,
You're
like,
like-
like having a boom.
yeah, and then the next day you're
next day.
like pooping yourself.
Yeah.
Because I was part of the delayed entry program, which for
That's
those
crazy.
It is
Did you get
crazy.
goosebumps?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you
I know, the
did.
Holy Spirit.
It's
right?
crazy.
For those who don't know, the delayed entry program is when you actually swear in, and then you do your year in high school, and then you join or you go into active service. So it was September 10th, 2001, And then I swore in September 11th happened, and I still remember because my high school teacher said, "Didn't you just sign up for the Marine Corps?" And I said, "Yes." So, as we're in our chapel, because I went to WLA, Winnebago Lutheran in Fond du Lac, we're in the chapel watching the towers fall. So yeah, that was intense.
It's terrible.
At the time, I didn't really know the magnitude of
Yeah,
what was
you're like,
happening.
hey,
Yeah.
you're probably like, let's go, let's get
Yeah,
it.
let's get it, And then the rumors flew too, which is a different story. Like, you weren't going to go to boot camp, you're going to go right to war, which is just so astronomically wrong.
Right.
Because they would never do that. But that's when all the rumors are happening. So then fast forward now. So yeah, I did my time.
But you looked for Bin Laden.
We did. I mean, I was in the eastern part of Afghanistan in the Hindu Kush
In the
Mountains.
caves, in the Hindu Kush Mountains, like in the caves, like, hey, has been there,
He's your embellisher.
Laden there. He was.
I know.
We were
Not
looking-
embellisher.
Wasn't he like taken out by a bunch of seals?
Yeah.
Eventually in Pakistan. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
It wasn't a
think
Marine.
like 3 years from now, you're like looking in caves, going, "Yo, anybody? We're all good in
Is
there."
that actually how it was?
Not
Well, yeah, not
extremely
like that.
accurate like that, but I
He
mean,
wasn't knocking on like a doorbell.
I mean, we were going up into the mountains with a mission to try to find them, for sure. Yeah, we went up there. I mean, and then the Hindu Kush Mountains is historically a huge mountain range because Napoleon was in there. If you're a historian, Napoleon tried to go up in there, and he got destroyed. So there's a lot of historical significance about the eastern part of
There's
Afghanistan.
like caves in there.
Caves there. I mean, you don't know what's in there. I mean, it's like referred to. Well, maybe this is not a good reference, but
Like Malthy Lake. The Northern Kettle Moraine.
Dundee Mountain.
Dundee
Yeah.
Mountain.
It's like
What's like the?
it's just like Dundee Mountain.
Is it like?
It really varied. So we were doing missions with like waist high snow. As opposed, then we go down the country a little bit to Kandahar, where it's desert. So it really depended on where you were. We were in the eastern part, so it snowed, just like anything, and it got really hot. And yeah, so I was there Halloween 2003 to Father's Day of 2004. So in June,
And he lost a lot of friends.
I lost two
Comrades.
in that deployment. Yes,
Right.
I lost two. Yeah, we two KIA and then 13 were wounded.
What is KIA?
Killed in action.
So he gets back. He's not in a good place. We'll speed up the convo a little bit, right?
Yeah,
So explain that a little bit.
Speed it up. I didn't really know. How do I summarize this? I didn't really know what was going on in my head yet. When I got back, I just thought I would come back and, it'd be great. We'll do parties and it'll be awesome. Just like college. And then, crap! I got to find a job.
Because how old were you?
23. 23. So really, really young yet. Thought I saw the world. I mean, I did, but I didn't at the same time. And then I came back and just thought everything was going to be a party, and then real life happens. You got to find a job. You got to be an adult. You didn't have. Yes.
Where does the Abercrombie and Fitch model of Saga fit in that?
Why would you bring this up?
Did you know that?
He was dating one, or you were one?
He was one in Hawaii.
I worked at.
Oh, that's right.
The last couple months of my enlistment, I was allowed to get a separate job because I was deemed unemployable. And so I went, and this is when I was very skinny, and I had muscles. And so I stood outside. I was stationed in Hawaii at the time. So there's
Where in Hawaii?
Kaneohe Bay.
Which is what island?
It's Oahu.
Oahu.
If someone were to search that up online, could they find pictures of you in Abercrombie?
No, there was. This is 2002. None of them.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
None of
Some
them.
good content right there.
Good idea.
Thank you.
That's why he's him. That's why he's the producer.
Yeah. So then I.
That's a thumbnail.
Said.
I would have made that a thumbnail.
Like the little thumbnail.
Hey, Todd.
That's funny.
Right down.
So I was a Abercrombie. I was a sales person.
Sorry for
I didn't
distracting
I didn't
you.
have my shirt.
Sorry, Joel.
I was in jeans and flip flops. But anyway.
First timer. First timer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So.
So let's
All
bring
right.
you
So
back.
all the way back now.
Yeah, please.
Right. So not Hawaii. You're in a bad spot. You're back here in Arizona
I was in Wisconsin.
or Wisconsin. Okay.
So I went.
And You're not in a good spot.
Not in a good spot. I mean, I tried to go to UW Oshkosh for a year. I think I went to 4 classes total in a year, which I wouldn't recommend doing. I partied a lot, drank way more than I ever should, and then I tried to bury deep down what was actually going on in my brain. Just not coping with what happened overseas properly, denying I even had a problem, as far as like post-traumatic stress, which you ever hear the term PTSD or PTS or PT. PTS they call it now because they don't want to call it disorder. So that's what happens. I didn't sleep for years. It felt like that's a little bit dramatic, but so I was just going through a lot of stuff.
I mean, you have a dog, Zealand, that was trained to wake you up at night if you have really bad nightmares, right?
Yeah, I still do. Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I have a nightmare, which doesn't happen.
Again, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks. So it doesn't happen a lot anymore, but I do randomly, maybe 1 or 2 a month, which as opposed to every day for 10 years, I had a nightmare. And now with Zealand, she is trained. My dog, she's a Labrador. She's trained to lick me in the face when I start shaking. So
It's crazy.
yeah.
So how'd you have the coffee idea, right? So that's going on now. You're going to roast coffee beans. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so fast forward to when I lost my job again, Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day week was a tough one. And then you hear this number, 22 a day, it was veterans killing themselves, taking their own lives, I should say. And I didn't want to stand idly by anymore. I just thought, what can I do to raise awareness for it, stop this, whatever you wanted to call it. I needed to do something, and coffee was just something I really enjoyed drinking at the time. And we both get together over a cup of coffee, and it's just 9 times out of 10 when you have that coffee, you don't talk about what's the contents in the coffee. You talk about what happened, the atmosphere, the conversation. So that's what can really happen over this cup of coffee, and that's a video I showed you. Is that John Basilone portrayed this, and it was like diner coffee or whatever they were talking. It was just about the conversation that happened over it.
Now, if Holden was good at his job, he'd cut that over into our pod, and then he'd show that little sequence.
I'm not that tech savvy.
He's really into this river
We're getting there.
story.
We're getting
It's
there.
fine, overturn it.
Okay, so you're drinking coffee. We got to Memorial. What happens? What's the light bulb?
Well, I had a business mentor that helped me start the idea of roasting coffee.
Shout out to
Sue Baker.
Sue Baker.
Sue Baker, she works for the Simplifying America's Fund, which is an amazing organization to help me start my business, and they've done they've done so much that I can't really even explain. Recently the Today Show.
The Today Show. Good Morning America.
no,
Two
those are different.
Two different things.
Just
Right,
the Today
all
Show.
that, whatever that is.
Yeah, so I was on
All
recently-
that, both of them.
Joel doesn't
ESPN,
watch
Top 10
daytime
Sports Center, General Hospital, Dynasty,
I wasn't on those.
Dynasty.
Gilmore Girls?
Gilmore Girls.
Kidding.
Too far.
So then I was living in Madison, and I was researching on how to roast coffee, and I was driving back and forth because my mother was sick, and I was seeing this building being built in the middle of Campbellsport. I'm like, what is this?
It was us.
That's where we are right now.
That's where we are right now. And so that's when I decided to Facebook message Joel Fleischman and ask him if we can talk. And yeah, I still remember, I was sitting in a blind with my friend Will, who actually lost both of his legs, and he
Shout out to Will.
Will Lyles.
It was a cool
Lyles.
guy.
He's a good guy. He comes up every fall, and he bow hunts up here.
Cool.
So that's where I was, and that's then we started Reyna. I stopped in here. There was a coworker here that doesn't work here anymore that gave me your number. She taught me how to spell your name, Rain with an A. That's what she said.
Rain with an A
Rain with an A.
at the end. An additional A.
So you don't have a roaster, you don't have a business, you just have an idea, and you're a barista doing like 2-pound little things, like nothing.
No.
So you and I are talking. I'm like, Sam, you got to scale this up, right? You got to get a roaster, you got to get a place. So what building did we look at? Where do you live today?
I currently live in the First Baptist Church, which is right down the road, just east of BlueDoor Coffee and the downtown office of Drexel.
So what you were looking at? What else were we looking at the time? Do you remember?
We looked at the old, where the realtor builds.
Yeah, small little realtor commercial property.
That was a disaster.
Yeah,
They fixed it up really
They fixed it up. It
nice.
looks
They
really
did
nice
now,
now.
yeah, but when we looked at it at the time, it
Yeah,
was-
so then I'm like, hey, what about this church that's for sale, right? And Sam's like, I could tell by his face, he's like,
To brew coffee in.
Yeah,
and live.
roast coffee.
and
Roast
live.
and
He
live.
had to live in it because
It's
it
the
was
cutest
residential.
little First Baptist church you ever did see, right here on Main Street. And I took him down there, and I said, Sam, I think this, Taj Mahal of places to roast coffee. And your initial reaction was like, to me at least, body language, like, that ain't happening, Joe.
I did not like it right away.
Yeah.
I did not like it right away. I just didn't see the vision, and I've learned a lot these last 3 years, and I know I'm not a big picture person. I like the details, and so then to have you in my corner as like the big picture person, seeing the potential was really a big deal. And so yeah, we toured it 3-4 times. And then the puppets moved a couple times.
Yeah, there was these puppets in there. It was creepier than heck.
Yeah.
Like for the homily, they must have used puppets.
What's a
pretty
homily
cool.
for a non-Catholic person?
Sermon.
Okay. And then so for Baptists, they did full immersion baptism.
Yeah, full immersion. You know what that means, full immersion?
No.
Dunk tank. Dunk tank baptisms.
Wait, what?
Like a
Dunk tank. Like a 300-gallon
Jacuzzi.
dunk tank.
Oh.
Like
They
a
don't baptize them when they're baby. Baptize
Like a
them when they're like
pool.
24 and they've decided to commit their life to Jesus.
And you like dunk it with your arm.
yeah.
So that was there, and so then we went there, and there was puppets in it because they only had like 4 members at the time. Clearly all baptized, so they weren't doing any baptizing anytime soon. I think I'm speculating.
It was creepy.
It was creepy. So there was puppets in there, and then we went in there a couple times, and they were moved randomly. I think that could have been the preacher.
Church bells still work.
Do they? Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, scale it up. You're on not Today's Show. How many views did you get?
That was on Veterans Day.
On Veterans
Yeah.
Day of
This year.
2012.
How many views did you get?
2020.
I
You remember?
don't have that.
Millions.
No.
No, I don't think
Like
million.
viewers, people watching that show.
Oh, that's
millions
sure.
of viewers.
The show, like millions. Yeah,
yeah.
millions of people saw it. How many orders did you get in 24 hours? Do you remember?
How many orders?
How many orders in?
Online orders or dollar amount?
Let's,
Online orders.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
see.
do online orders. I got 2,000 orders in 24 hours.
2,000 orders in 24 hours. Hold on, did you catch that? 1,000.
Which equates to like
Normally
a
you
year
get
of
how many
sales.
in a week? How many do you normally get?
5.
5 normally in a week. You got
Down
2,000.
24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was getting about 10 on a good week, and then I got 2,000. I got around 1,000 in 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So
a
he
lot.
came down to BlueDoor. I'm like standing there, I don't know, getting a latte or something. Sam's like shaking. I think I had seen the video then already. Maybe I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it was a
He's
really
like-
cute moment. You were outside, he was
Oh, yeah.
outside of the BlueDoor, and like either you hugged him, it was like a
I
big
did give him a hug,
embrace.
And then he showed me his little order app thing.
was like-
And it was like, you could literally see it, like the
How long
viral
does it take
movie
to
thing.
Make one order?
How long does
Isn't
it
that
to
the
make one
question
order?
overturn? How long does it take?
It depends on the size of. So I have different sizes: 5-pound bags and 12-ounce bags.
If this was Shark Tank, he just lost.
I mean, it takes with the roaster I currently do have right now. It takes 16 minutes to roast 8 pounds of coffee.
What's 16 minutes time?
Then you gotta put it in the bag,
In the bag, we got to label
put
it.
a label on
Yeah,
it.
This
we-
process
Then you
is
gotta mail it,
very good now.
So like 45 minutes?
not per bag, 15.
15 total?
Yeah,
Sure.
I would say 15, 20 bags, or a minute a bag.
Minute a bag, you can do, you think?
No, 15 or 20 a bag. At the
Okay,
time.
right, at the time.
No, like actually tagging. Like,
Yeah, 15 minutes. So 15 minutes times 2,000 is a lot. 500
that's
hours.
30,000 minutes. Wait. Yeah.
Seems right.
500 hours.
Seems right.
How can I that's 15 times 2,000?
Yep, that's why you're a podcast.
All right, overturn. So lots
All right,
of
that's
minutes.
kind of how we all know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything that we missed? Amazingly, that took already, we're at 40 minutes.
And this is the most riveting podcast they've ever watched.
kind of is. It's good, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really?
Yes.
All right, so you got like a real business now. Reyna's got a real business now. You just went over $44,000 back to local charities.
That's amazing.
So BlueDoor gives all their profits to charity, over 44 grand. Sam gives 10% of his profits to suicide awareness. Veteran Suicide Awareness, VSA.
Correct. And
I call it. Only I call that.
I just did, my biggest donation was almost $6,000 in December. So,
In 1 month, $6,000, making a change in the world, baby. So that's, and we're all right here in little downtown Campbellsport, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So we got to do our billboard. I mean, things are moving fast at this pod. This is an intrigued pod.
Things are not moving fast. He wants them to move fast because I have questions for Joel.
This is the fastest podcast we've done.
Thank you, Overturn.
Yeah, see, it was really good. So we got to do our billboards.
Joel, what's your favorite color?
Blue. It's not.
Blue. That's so dumb. It's not even like that. That's not a good question.
Team Blue.
Unless it like leads to a different question.
Blue, right?
Joel Fleischman,
Yeah,
have
it's
you,
only
have you
blue.
ever made
There's
a
no other color.
mistake?
Mistake? These are podcast questions.
I don't think.
These are like
It was open-ended.
Is that like you get?
I've made. What's the song? What's the song? I've made. I have regrets, but too few to mention.
I don't know.
We could have talked about the songs you want at your funeral.
Oh, I love the songs I went at my funeral. On Eagle's Wings, for sure.
Nine Eagles win.
Yeah, you will raise you up. That's got to be there for sure. And then it has to be How Great Thou Art, right?
Classic.
Classics. Breathe, Just Breathe by Pearl Jam, recently added
Daughter rock and roll band.
for your funeral.
That's too sad.
That's creepy and
That's
weird for
terrible.
wrong. Doesn't make any sense at all. And then Don't Worry, Be Happy on the way out.
It's nice.
Make sure you don't let any Elton John.
Oh, and then also, no, definitely not Elton John. But then also the last one that I'll just mention briefly is the Hawaiian song, Over the Rainbow.
I have that one.
Man, that's like
Ishi,
so
Ishi.
cliche.
Ish.
Died, right?
I don't care if it's cliche. It's my funeral. I can have whatever I
No,
want.
no, it's fine. I'm
It's
glad-
cliche because
I'm
it's
glad you
it's
spoke
It's like
Perfect.
700 pounds. He was a big man. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his shish kebabs. What's a Hawaiian thing? Not a shish kebab.
Weed.
Pig roast.
Pigs. He like luau's.
Yeah, luau's. Luau's. Liked his luau's. Luau's.
Well, I mean, you always refer to yourself as Drexel or BlueDoor, like, not always, but in this podcast you have, like you said, BlueDoor has opened, but you are the originator of that, and that's, I think that needs to be said. Like, this is your vision, this is your vision, and this, you've done a lot for Campbellsport, and I just want to make sure that that gets said, because you never say this, you know, and I just want to say thank you for giving me a shot, for
Thank you, Joel.
giving.
We have lost this podcast off the rails.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's
They even directed.
yeah. They had like a hidden agenda here.
Yeah.
Horrible. Hold on. Let's take this back over. Okay, billboards. So last question we always ask is billboards. You got one big giant billboard. You're both very spiritual
Are you gonna have us
people,
back?
entrepreneurs. We'll see. We'll see.
Last podcast.
Overturn.
She's trying to get a second invite.
I could come
This thing
back.
is off the rails. You don't ask for a second invite on a podcast. You're gonna have us back? We'll see the viewership. I mean, we don't know. What do you bring it to the table? What else do you have to say?
everybody. Okay, the billboard question. Sam, you go.
Which is you got a really big giant billboard, stays
Yeah.
up forever, huge impact. People see it.
Times Square.
Is that the one we want? I don't like Times Square though. We gotta find a different one.
Everybody's gonna see it.
Top of Mount Rushmore,
Highway 41.
Yellowstone.
People go to which one is it?
There's no
South Dakota or
billboards
North
in
Dakota?
Yellowstone.
That's why. That's the visual. Like you have this one on top of Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Which one's Mount Rushmore? North Dakota or South Dakota?
South.
South.
Who goes there? Who like not make that?
Oh man.
just
Sorry,
a
Mount
national
Rushmore. Sorry to
monument.
everyone in South Dakota and Mount Rushmore. Holden takes it back.
Joel, do you go first? I don't know if I've ever heard of your billboard.
Yeah, we do this every week. We do this every week. So what's your billboard? I don't have one. I hear all of yours, and
really
they're all
don't?
really good. I don't know. I jumped all over. I just did it on the last podcast, so I'm not gonna go there. I don't really, not yet. If I have one, I'll just maybe I'll put it back there if I have one, right?
Ladies first.
Holden doesn't have one either.
I do have one.
Oh, well, maybe I have a pod. Maybe I'll be on the pod sometimes. I don't want to know now.
Yeah, when he invites me back, we can.
What? There you go. Invite yourself back.
Wow,
It's overturned.
that's a lot. Okay, who wants to go first?
Yours is funny.
But you go first. Ladies first.
Okay, so mine is going to, this is going to be a little basic, but it would be pink and in white letters in like typewriter font, because shout out to Tanya Rattenmeister making me fall
Like
in love
Times
with
New
that font.
Roman with that little,
Yeah.
with like the ink
Yeah.
blotchy things.
It would
Yeah.
just say, love first. That's it.
Why go deeper?
Okay, Joel. Did you get that? I just feel like it encompasses
She's trying too hard.
everything. I think it encompasses everything. Like, I think whenever I struggle with anxiety, or if I struggle with making a decision, or if I am teeter-tottering, it says in the Bible like a million times to just like love. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's it.
If it comes down to it, just love your neighbor. Just just do that and you're good.
Do you hear the Beatles? All you need is love. Very popular songs. Check it out. Love first. I like it though.
Oh, you need, what's it called? What's that one by John Lennon?
Wow, John Lennon. All you need is love.
No.
Love, love, love,
I'll think about it.
love, love, love. A lot of hippie stuff going on.
Imagine.
Oh, imagine all the people. See, love first. Love first is good. Period? Do you do a period, right?
Yes.
I'm seeing the period.
For sure, the
Okay.
period. Just love first. And then, like, you're driving down the road, and you think about so much in the car. At least for me, my car's like my therapy. Like, if I'm upset, I'll just drive wherever. It doesn't
A
matter
lot of people
where.
do that. Just
Yeah.
kind of solitude thing.
Yeah.
I like love
I
first.
feel like if you saw a billboard that said love first, it would just, like, put everything into perspective.
Like this.
Yeah, you're like, oh, everything is fine.
Fine.
Or even if it's not fine.
Ish.
And to kind of like segue into that, so February 4th, that big accident you were talking about, there was this big mantra that went around. It was called Love Lives On, or it wasn't called that, but like that was something that everybody kind of referred to that accident with, was Love Lives On. And it's so true. And I think like that was really important for me too, is like knowing that getting past tragedy, and like there's bad things that are always going to happen in your life, but like the love that you invest into each other, like that never dies. It's beautiful. It is.
good.
It's
That
beautiful.
is good. No, it's
it's
good.
true.
We
Like you
like it.
love your kids and your grandkids, and even when you're dead, they're still gonna like remember that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my sappiness of the day. Your turn.
That's really good.
Thanks.
So I've thought about mine more. I'm not going to change it, but there.
Okay, don't change it.
Really, there's different levels of my billboard now. But it just came to me when we were talking about this, when we were supposed to do it the first time, and she asked me what it was. Raina asked me what my billboard was going to be, and it just off the top of my head, it said, "It never hurts to ask."
Wouldn't that be funny?
That's one of my favorites. That's good.
Isn't that funny?
So what? Give me all the layers of it.
Yeah, so it was at the surface before Raina started talking today. But as I thought about it, as the last 30 seconds is,
Deep thinking the last at least 30 seconds.
He's thought about it for weeks. Come on.
I thought about the same. Just now, it's just a little bit more complex. Is that there is I am spiritual. I am spiritual. That's a whatever. I believe in God, and so like seek and you will find, knock and you will and the door will answer. It's just kind of a correlation of that passage as well. And then
So like, I keep searching.
Yeah.
Keep looking. Keep asking.
right. I mean, if I would have never asked you about this, I mean, there's who knows? Like it
Right.
never hurts to ask. It's also too on the lines of Operation Coffee. It never, if you are struggling, it never hurts to go and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's layers.
There's like the surface level that's like really hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's the sexual connotation that you go to immediately, right?
Nope.
no. No. Actually, that wasn't even on my radar.
Now I'm thinking about it. Yes, but no.
Oh, I thought that was like, wow. Do I just have like a sick, dirty mind? I guess.
Yeah,
Wait, what happened? I was thinking about something.
it's fine. Over.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for tuning in today. I was thinking.
It made me laugh because he was like, when he had told me what his billboard was, he was like knee deep in orders, and I said, "What's your
Yeah.
billboard going to be?" And at this time, there were volunteers in the church, and so many people helping him
Yeah.
get through these orders, and he was like, "It doesn't hurt to ask." It just made me laugh.
It's good though. There's a lot of layers to it, including the layer that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, an additional layer,
Additionally,
the sexual
Or-
connotation.
Or just mess up a big Montana, and that's how you meet your girlfriend.
Yes. Oh, can I tell that story?
it's your Yeah, I mean,
It's my podcast. Did you hear it? He
I mean,
finally gave
all
it
your
up.
parts are working out so well.
Reyna.
Happy hour with Raina and Sam. No, this is it. This is a segue. So Sam was working. Me and Sam
There was
were
no
working
segue. You invented the segue there.
a lunch shift, and Abby, who is now his girlfriend, came in with a bunch of her friends, and Sam was very flustered because he remembered Abby and he thought she was so cute, and he used to play baseball or something with her, and he was in the kitchen and he's like, "I know her." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I used to play baseball with her." And I was like, in my head I'm like, "I don't care, like we gotta
That's exactly how I sound like. Nailed it.
get." So then he just forgot to make her lunch. He made everybody else's lunch, and he forgot to make Abby's. He forgot to make Abby's Big Montana. But then he got to talk to her.
Yeah, wow, that's a good low key move. Well, Holden, you work at a bar restaurant, PJ Magoo's, and it's a good one. Looking for a girlfriend, you just forget to make her an order.
Because eventually she'll have to talk to you.
Yeah, she's gonna have to bring things
Hey,
up.
so I forgot to make your lunch.
Sympathy card move. Like, I'm kind of a train wreck. I can need some help here.
I gave her a free cookie.
Free cookie. See, nice.
I paid for it. Okay.
I mean, I get it. Whatever happened there.
Just
Okay.
at the table.
Well, our time is up. Thanks for coming on today, guys. I really appreciate it. It was a riot.
Thanks, Drew.
As always, thank you. Time goes fast on the pod.
That was fun.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for listening. As always, peace out. Love, serve, care. Love first. Never hurts to ask. Peace.